one morning I come in and they said they'd been searching for 6 in the morning. The tide was just going out when it happened. When it come back down later in the afternoon, there was a girl just laying on the bank over there, sort of 20 years old, and looked like a little angel, to be honest. You know, it's gone off for some reason. Some people go in, if they don't want you to know, no one sees them. It's the middle of the night, they just slip in, no one even knows them.
Hey folks, welcome back to the podcast. Last week I spent some time down in London, and as any good opportunist would, I spent some time with London Fire Brigade, specifically out down to the Thames River, and was able to spend some time with the crew at Lambeth River Fire Station, where they patrol the Thames as part of London Fire Brigade. But before we delve into all of that, I wanted to tell you about a new partner on the podcast, Rosenbauer. Now, you'll no doubt remember Rosenbauer for their thousands and thousands of infamous helmets that you see up and down the UK Fire and Rescue Service, but I actually want to talk to you today about a pair of their boots. As I record this right now, I'm stood here in a pair of Twister Cross protective boots from Rosenbauer, and there's a few things about these boots that I absolutely love. So firstly is how ridiculously easy they are to put on and off. Now, it might sound fairly obvious, but they've got this twist and lock system that you have at the front. You'll have seen these on a few of the boots, basically the ones where it's a really tight nylon-like cord where you depress the center button and then twist it to the side to quickly ratchet up the boot. Not only that, they've got them 2 flex zones on the side of the foot, so whenever I'm running around, jumping up and down towers, running up and down stairs, really, really comfortable. These have actually still got the steel toe caps as well, so you can wear them in the appliance bay. You know when you do like a 12-hour shift and you can't wait to get your boots off because they're rubbish, basically, and they're really uncomfortable? Well, I'm wearing these Rosenbauers in and out of work. They're super comfy, they're easy to put on and off, they're made with really good materials, they're totally waterproof. So since we've been coming out of winter, we've been hitting with these storms lately in this weather. I've been wearing these out walking the dogs, out sorting the horses out, and to be honest, they just blast off the pressure washer really easy when I get back. So you're going to be hearing some more from Rosenbauer as we move on with different parts of the podcast, but I just wanted to tell you about that as well. Also, before we jump forward, if you could do me a massive favour, hit that subscribe and or follow button that you see right in front of you. 2 main reasons. Number 1, I'll be your best friend forever. It really helps out the podcast. And number 2, it allows you to stay up to date when all the new episodes come out. So hit that subscribe, follow button right now, and it'd be a massive favour to me.
Lee Davis, I'm the sub-officer of the Green Watch at Lambeth River Station.
So what's the name of the rig?
Right, so we've got 2 fire boats. This one that we're standing on, you can see the FF on the top of the roof there, is the Fire Flash.
Hi, all right.
The spare boat that's just in dock, a good few miles up that way in Swan Island, is called the Fire Dart.
Fire Darts?
Yeah. So they're going to be replaced shortly by 2 boats, one called Tanner.
Okay.
And one called Errington. Not sure.
I remember just seeing the old pictures of Massey Shaw's boats coming down, and I figured they'd all have some sort of dissension from that, but there's been a load of individuals come since him, so I imagine they've all got their own names. So what's the capacity of these boats, and why is this one coming to the end of its life?
So 20-year shelf life. It's got, well, you know, like the emissions in London and stuff, the diesel, it runs on red diesel and stuff, so like that's all. It was supposed to be, end of its life cycle was normally about like 2015 it should have been done. Yeah. So it's well over that now, like it's about 7 years out of date, both boats. When we got
What's wrong with it? Sounds harsh, but obviously it's still operational. It looks a little bit tired, but...
Well, it is tired, but like when you see like the new boat, like how far we've come in 20 years, like we've got like fish finder, sonar on it. we've got nothing digital on that boat there. Right. But this thing's got swipe screens, and there's no steering wheel in the new boat. It's just joystick only. So you just lean it to what way you want to go. The beam is a lot. It's an increase on this. So the beam, I should say, is
what is the beam?
The beam is the width of the boat.
Okay.
So it's got much wider beam, and about another 1.5 meters. Why
do you want a wider beam? There's more stability in the water, is it?
Just whoever's designed it. It wasn't designed by us. It's like similar to this. It has a gate on the front. It's a bigger boat. The boat will run from the end of this pontoon here right up to the middle of where we were standing. If you get 2 boats here, it will take up all the pontoon, the size of them.
So this fire station actually sits on the water. This fully functioning fire, stupid as it sounds. We've got bedding in here. This is actually the fire station.
It's a floating pontoon. It's 2 stories. It's got watertight doors like you have in a submarine or on a ship. So anything below deck, so where you see these portholes here, that's the classroom. So obviously below that, so if there was a breach from the pontoon, water would come gushing in, so that's why we have like watertight doors. So it has
got, for all the guys and girls working here, it's got lecture rooms, got gym, kitchens, everything. It's a proper station.
We've got a kitchen, it's a proper working station. It's the only floating fire station, and it gets rocked about as well. We've got a 7 metre tide. So
I was going to say, it looks low.
So the little guy up there, in about what we're doing now. So the tide's still moving outwards. Okay. So we're going to go down a little bit further, But like in about 6 hours, we'll be level. We'll be level with a window.
Jesus,
So,
really?
Yeah. So we've got like 7 metre tide. And that's twice.
I did think,
when
I'm looking at some of these restaurants and stuff they're sitting on here, these will be sitting in the water 8 hours later.
Yeah, well, people who don't know, that's what they say.
That's it, mate. You don't know. Thames is tidal, isn't it?
The Thames, it's low today, but it's low and high every day. It goes up twice a day.
So for people, obviously, we can see what we're looking at, but that is a good, 4 or 5 metre rise?
Yeah, and we're not at low tide yet, because this pimple here, see where we're coming out.
Yeah.
So in an hour or so, it will be out to here. So like this is called like when you look on a chart map and you see the green, that's like a drying height. So like it shows drying heights on the side what are exposed. Yeah.
So just getting our head around the water rescue and the water levelling capacities. So we've got 6 levels of water rescue, is that right? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
So we've got our wading, then we've got swift water rescues 3, and then 4 and 5 are our power boats.
Yeah.
So you boys are everything, I imagine.
No.
All right.
We don't. That's all FRU stuff.
Okay.
We're just marine.
You're just marine.
But just marine. It's a different.
Shows my lack of knowledge on that one.
It's a different ball game in here.
All right.
We don't work to them different levels. We have like the way go through. We do swift water. Basically, we do the same level as the FRUs do. But we have the mud capacity as well that we do. Like we was doing that last week. We was training with that.
Yeah.
Most of our number one calls are for people jumping on off bridges, suicides.
Okay.
That's our main bread and butter.
So you guys all dry suited up for a quick response, jump in and grab them, or is it predominantly trying to hook them out of the water? Or?
Do you know what? If we had someone 5 o'clock in the morning a few nights back, I think they jumped off Vauxhall Bridge.
Okay.
If you don't see them within, 5 minutes, and a lot of time they're not there anymore anyway, because when they go in, they go under, depending on the speed of the tide. We've got a 5-knot tide, like they roll around like in a washing
they get
machine.
pulled straight under the rip curl and just tumble dry them.
Yeah, and they can be out to like Tower Bridge within half hour.
So have we got camera spotters and stuff on the bridges for us to be able to see, and do you use thermal imaging capacities? Or?
Yeah, Coast Guard, we had the helicopter up as well.
Okay.
The nice thing for me as a sub-officer is that I get to speak, like normally on the fire engine, you go through your control, you want to speak to the police, you want to speak to, apart from manually, but I'll speak to the Marine Police, I speak to the Coast Guard, speak to VTS, which is the River Traffic Service along the river, I can speak directly to the helicopter. I'll show you the radios, there's about 4 different radios, and when it gets going in there.
Yeah, it's a busy old waterway. We forget the fire brigade is only a small part of everything that's going on down there.
Where you say like with cameras and stuff, but I use the landside crews. So if I've got a confirmed person in, you have to remember that an incident on the river doesn't stay still like it does on the landside. So like when you start plotting how you're going to start like planning this incident, you're going to start looking at the tide, speed of the tide, depths of the tide, where you're going to plot, how far back you're going to go. You've got to get the speed of the tide will be, so how far that. We've got something we throw in with a light on in the night as well. So the minute we know they've gone in, we throw that in so we can gauge how far that's gone down the river or upstream.
Okay. So you can plot that immediately, the speed of the pull, so you can judge where they're going to be when you get to them.
The span of the search is going to be.
So how many stations are based on the Thames? How many? Just the one. It is literally just you guys to cover the whole thing.
Yeah, this is it.
Jesus.
It's
so we have got some firefighting capabilities on the boat as well.
Yeah, so we have like your deliveries there.
Yeah.
We carry quite a lot of water on here.
Yeah.
There it is.
I was going to say, do you actually carry anything as in the bow just to give the boat stability, or is it all of it is just pumping capacity, it just pumps through?
On the monitor, pumps through. On that, I think it's about 1,800 litres a minute. On our new one, it's like massive. It's something like 10,000. It's got like about 4 electronic monitors on it.
Yeah.
Problem with it when you use the monitor though as well is you get jet reaction from it. So like where you're firing up there, the old Massey Shore, if you look on old photos and it was fighting a factory fire, you'll see on the other side it had two monitors pushing into the
water to keep it steady.
Yeah. So that's
I suppose if you're pumping out, like you say, you're pumping out and you throw an 1,800.
Yeah.
He'd be slowly getting you over the side of the bloody river.
Yeah, and mud mats are there on that, 2 5 metres, 1 2 metre, very heavy, a move, look really light once you lift them, but once they're on the mud.
The IRPs, the inflatable rescue paths,
booms
booms around the edge of them sort of thing.
Yep.
Nice.
But once they're on the mud, like a lot of guys who do.
Do you have the lances to go into the mud to free people out as well?
Yeah, we use that. Yeah, we was only using them 2 weeks ago. Like we do 6 monthly. I just take all the lads out. I put it all on myself, and we all get in the mud. And
Nice.
And especially people, a lot of FRUs have done mud rescue training, but they've never been on the mud.
No, so I've done literally some familiarisation with the lances and trying to free people up.
You wait, and when you get on the mud, and you can't lift anything, even the small. All of a sudden, you're trying to lift it, but the suction is quite good. All right, so let's have a look down here. Just doing.
So these fellas are constantly nursing it, trying to keep it going. Help us.
So we come into the bridge, as we call it. So like air suspension seats, all the seats because of the you see the suspension of all the seats because like when you
what speed does it travel at?
Well, it should do 32 knots. It used to do 32 knots. But then,
so you'll be getting some kick off the water.
So if you when you're with the tide, you can add 5 knots of tide to that. So, but then going the other way, it's minus because you've got to take the tide off. There's speed over water and speed over ground are different. So like what happens is the fire brigade bit of this starts diminishing when you've been on there a lot.
It's literally
you start, and that's what when senior officers come on and they're asking you and like we
living in different worlds almost.
Yes, it's a marine world, and the fire brigade kind of trying to fit it to the marine world. So like we have to sort of there's my radios there. So I've got this one, that's my control. That's one I talk to the land crews. This one I talk to the Coast Guard. That one I talk to VTS on there. This one I can talk to the crews outside. So like on a good day, that's my little world there.
Jesus.
And when everyone's talking to you, you know, like, and you have to prioritise it.
With the greatest of respect, you kind of just, you're not ignoring anybody, but you just need to crack on and get it done, because otherwise you can mess about trying to communicate with everybody and miss the whole point of what you're doing.
My number one person on there is the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
So like this is my control, but quite often if they're both speaking at the same time, I'll say to my control, stand by and liaise with the Coast Guard.
Who's got the main jurisdiction on this water?
It's the Coast Guard.
It's Coast Guard all day.
So
police don't.
No, it's the Coast Guard's river. The traffic system belongs to the PLA, Port of London Authority. So that which is.
Do they get awfully upset if you just start self-deploying on drills? Do you have to schedule all your stuff, or are you happy you can just go out whenever you want?
The lovely thing about my job is I have total autonomy to what I want to do, when I want to do it, and so like not senior. I mean, we still get like program training and stuff. It's a little bit different, but I can usually, you know, if I say like, right, tomorrow, boys and girls, we're going to go out and do mud. It's up to me what I want to do. So I make sure, like, and what I kind of do is where I think the shortfalls are, or if someone's quite new, and I'll say like, you've been on mud, and they're like, never. So well, we're going to go on.
Assumptions are the mother of all mess ups,
as they say. Because on here it's very, very high profile. So anything on that river in front of Parliament, as you can imagine, everybody feels.
Everyone's on the camera straight away. You need to be slick, really slick.
It
not getting out there dropping stuff off the sides, fumbling around.
You will be exposed straight away. And I'm very
that must
aware
be quite nerve-wracking for people, because when I said to you, like, have you got to have a certain number of years in FRSs or whatever before you come on and do this, because it's pretty intense.
I rode in charge for 20 years and I've had me moments where like I've seen some things and but I've tended to take a lot of my experience from people I thought were calm. And like I've took a lot of that from ask the guys. You never see me shout, scream, and whatever. But I'm very conscious of people making a mess of things, and like so I always say, like, you know, like if you're not sure of it, let's just go out and play with it. We'll do it. Any new bit of equipment we have, like within a few days, we're out at night throwing that out, because a few nights ago.
Don't let your egos get in the way. If you're not sure, let's just have a play.
Because just simple things like oh, we've got this new bit of equipment. You turn the light on here, but when the night comes, you're like, oh, I don't want to have to explain that.
You can't unclip it. You can't get it out of his holder. You can't get it out of the bag. You drop it somewhere. Yeah, all those little bits. Because like you say, when someone goes off a bridge or someone goes in the water, you've got minutes before they are in a completely different location.
Usually, it's very interesting, like when you learn about different people, different ages, different races, float differently.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like we had...
I know I'm dense as hell. I sink.
Well... Usually, like we had a really nice lady come down and filmed. Done a presentation on. She was a police diver.
Yeah.
And she'd once gone to a drowning, 2 guys in a boat, and they'd fallen that they'd gone in a lake, and what she couldn't understand when they got there, they found one body underneath where the river was. It was a long way up the Thames, and there's very little tide, but they found another body 2 miles away. They both went off this. When they come out of the pub, they've got in this little boat. They both went in the drink at the same time. And she said like that made her, set her on a journey of studying why this happens and stuff. And she showed us a chart.
So is it like a graph of like rough travelling
every
speeds,
time, even when
weight.
we've got any time we've got a body, we can get onto her and say like, we found this body here. Their age was that, they was wearing this.
So she can build that whole database.
And one of the things was that they've never found anyone under the age of 15 who didn't sink to the bottom. No one's ever been found on the top of the water who's under the age of 15. So the minute they go in, drown, they're down.
Why? Are they that far
they've
into
never,
it?
on the opposite side of that, no one under the age of 65 has been found on the bottom, 100% floating. So anyone old in the water is...
So what's that? Is that the porousness of the skin?
Well, there's lots of different
the bone
factors.
density.
And another thing,
you get hard bones in the middle. I'm out there. I'm wandering in the water now. Because you start to get obviously brittle bones and less calcium as you get older.
But that's 100% anyone under 15. It's not been found.
The survivability when they're younger is a lot higher as well, though, isn't it? You get that
so we always search,
mammalian drowning instinct.
We always search for 90 minutes anyway.
90 minutes.
Yeah, we'll give them at least 90 minutes. We'll be up and down the river, whatever the weather, whatever time of day it is. Okay. So yeah, she done this study.
And after that, without seeming morbid, is it? Do the crews here dive? Do they have dive?
You can't dive in this.
We can't dive in this.
You can't dive in
just because visibility is nothing, or
just the tide.
Oh, okay,
like,
just
and
whip
the
you
debris
away.
Underneath it, and there's like
it's just too dangerous.
Like some of there's like they call them sort of cow sheds, bits that stick out underneath that they're exposed when the Thames goes down. There's lots of old bits of bridges and stuff.
Lots
when the
of
tide
strainers
goes down,
and stuff that's going to catch your legs or lines.
You can't put a diver in here. Unless there's like a still tide, it's like.
So if it's after 90 minutes, is it just knock off make up?
But usually, so if they're under a certain age, you probably know they'll be around after about 5 days. They'll come back up, unless they're stuck under a barge, which happens quite often. So the one we had 5 o'clock, I think it was Wednesday morning. The Red Watch 2 days later. Found them when the tide went down. They were exposed just on the bank over there, like the tide.
So when you say find them, you guys go out and just do tours to check the banks for?
No, someone
just Member of Public calls it in and says.
Yeah, someone will call it in. We patrol every day we go out, and also the Metropolitan Police have like Marine Police 2 is usually this side of Wapping, and Marine Police 3 is the other side of Wapping. Yeah, so they go up and down, and sometimes like we had a girl one morning. I come in and they said they'd been searching for 6 in the morning. The White Watch I took over at 9:30. The tide was just going out when it happened. Yeah. Then it come in. And then when it come back down later in the afternoon, there was a girl just laying on the bank over there, sort of 20 years old, like, and looked like a little angel, to be honest. It's gone off for some reason. Some people go in if they don't want you to know. No one sees them. It's the middle of the night. They just slip in. No one even knows they're in. So other people are seen getting in.
Cheers, brother. Really appreciate that, mate.